Okay, I'll give everybody a few minutes to see if they can come and find us again. That was my fault. There was a problem with the first page I had. So, first session, I don't quite know what happened to it. There we go. So Erica, you chose the right weekend to come down here then. Having a lovely rainy day. Much cooler though, wasn't it? I'm just going to open my window, so I'll be back in a minute. Oh, still quite muggy, isn't it? Okay. Ah, hi Lynn. Hi Nicola. Hi Elaine. Hi Tracy. I'm glad you found me. I'm trying. Yes, Susan. Yes, she can. Hopefully Noreen can be able to join us and her conservatory isn't too bad now. I'm going to try and sort this camera out a bit for you. I need to move, don't I, slightly. There we go. Oh, what have I got here? Barbara found me. Sue. No, she's got to come back. Good to have you along, Barbara. Hi, thanks, Nikki. Nicola, I'm guessing Sheila's with you as well. So that's good to have Sheila along. And I hope you have a lovely weekend with your mum as well for the first time. Erica, is this the first time you've got down? Hi, Lucinda. How you doing? Oh, so I've just seen your message. Sorry, Erica. Down having a mini break. Oh, well, I'm sure you deserve it. And you did have some lovely weather the other day. Ah, Helen, hello. Thanks for joining us, Helen. Those of you that don't know Helen, she's the lady that's helping me trying to set up a workshop in Chichester. So we'll give it a go again early next year, probably. So thanks, Helen, for coming along. Yes, it has been gorgeous weather, hasn't it, Erica? A bit hot for me, I have to say, but you know, I'm not going to complain. It was lovely to see the sun. Oh no. Oh, Noreen, I'm sorry about that. Do you want me to give you a little bit of time of going out and coming back in again? Do you think that might help? Here for the first time. Oh, Lucinda, that's brilliant. Hi, Sue. I'm glad you're back in and found us. I'm sorry about that. It all went a bit haywire this morning. I'll try and find. I don't know what happened, to be perfectly honest. So hopefully it won't happen again next time. Right, there's 17 here, so maybe I'll make a start with you all. As I said, well, we're going to be doing the journal page today, which it really is entirely free play for you guys. I'm going to try and do different things to give you some guidance. And basically cover as many different things as I can without causing you to have complete bafflement. It is pretty straightforward. As I said, on a journal page, they tend to be pages for you to experiment with. So trying out different colours, trying out different techniques, using stamps maybe for the first time or getting them back out again because you haven't used them for a while and looking to use them in a different way. So feel free to do whatever you want to do. I'm just going to give you some guidance, okay? Hopefully, Noreen, you will be able to follow along. Yeah, hopefully. I'm probably gonna I'll probably edit the session so that I cut out some of the beginning chat because obviously people were starting to join us and I lost you. So let's start formally, shall we? Hello, everybody. I'm really glad you could come along. And hopefully this will be some time for you to have a little play and find some stuff out, test some things. I know a couple of people have got different things that they wanted to play with, so I'm going to try and cover 3 different ways of doing the background. So that's with paint, with brushos, and with gelatos, because a couple of you have got some gelatos around as well. So let's see how we get on, really. This one here that I did, I can wait for it to catch up. So this, I'm trying to find where the camera is. Let me put that down a bit low. Oh, that didn't help you, did it, really? Okay. Here we go. Does that help? Yeah. So this one I did here is using All and Create stamps and was influenced by something that Corey Herriman did with the Gnomies. So I was practicing myself there and having a little play. So that's where that one came from. My inks on my paints are much darker because she actually used the gel plate. But I don't know how many of you have got the large gel plate, which is what we would need on something this size. So I might do something separately with that one. And then there's this one that I did, which is using Clarity. And I have to confess now, I haven't used these stamps. And I've got a few of them, and I'm actually going to use Joy out of the set just to bring in some different ideas this morning. So this is Brave with the wolf, as you can see, and this background is Brushos. I personally, out of the two, I think I prefer this background for the moment, the other one being a bit heavy because of the white, and I just like how Brushos go mad really on the paper. There's different kind of techniques going on in here, and we'll cover a number of them with the layering up of with stamps and stencils. Okay. I did do a different Brusho one to put Brave against, and whilst I say your journal pages are something for you to experiment with, I couldn't use this one because I actually did it upside down. So, but I'm going to show you because it's got a completely different format of colour. As you can see, these still Brushos, and it's exactly the same colours in this one. It's just that the Brushos went on differently. So that goes to show that even using the same product, you're going to end up with 2 completely different backgrounds. Now this is the right way up, and you will see that I put my little halo on the bottom because when I did it, I had it this way up. Now you may not notice it, but the text is upside down. And I didn't actually spot that. I'm not very good with the camera this morning, am I? I didn't actually spot that until I nearly stuck the stamped image down and realised it, so I did it again. But anyway, I'm still going to use this background to do some of the techniques just to highlight to you what we can and can't do. Now, one thing I didn't suggest you get was an old credit card or anything, so don't worry about it. I'm just going to show you something that you can do with credit card and paint. I'm sure you've all seen it and we have used it before, but I might just add it in. So the first thing we're going to do then is start on our backgrounds. So if you grab your paper, I don't know how, oh, I've got some pencil on there. I don't know how many of you are using paint or Brushos or what you're using, so just bear with me. Let's get that off. So we'll do the paint first, in case that's where most of you are. Now, I did ask you to use different colours, which of course means I've got to use them. So this time round, as opposed to the orange, yellow and green, I'm going to use green, grey and pink. And I actually was watching a programme, it's one of the antique programmes, that they had this tea service on, and the pattern on the tea service was very simple, but it was in green, grey and pink. So I thought, I'm going to try that because they're not the kind of colours I've used. Now this kind, I mean, I use those colours all the time, but not together. Now this pink is a little bright, so we'll see how that works out. So the first thing we're going to do is just put one colour on first, I think, with this. One or two. Let's do one, and then we'll do two together, so you get to see both techniques, really. Now, hopefully, you're going to be able to see this. Yeah. Right. So we're going to put a small amount. You don't really need too much. You need enough to roll out, but we're going to put a little bit of paint on the mat. Oops, what we would do if it would come out. And then with the brayer, really brayer it out so it's not too thick. And then just bring some colour into the background. You can always add different colour if you want a bit more. So that's that one. And I know we should use the paint, but I'm not going to do that this time. I'm just going to keep cleaning the mat up. There's not that much left anyway. Now let's bring in some of the green and the pink, and we could do this together if we wanted to. So to do the two colours together, just shaking my paint a little bit, I'm going to put a little bit of paint on there. We can always add extra paint if you want it. Woo-hoo. And then let's have the green next to the grey. And then you've got a double of the pink, a bit more green on. Moving that away for a minute. And then again, keeping it to the middle of your brayer. Just, oh, I think we need a bit more green on that. That went a bit mad, didn't it? Because I'm using two different types of paint, I think. And then we can, oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Start on the paper rather than on the edge, because otherwise the brayer is going to pick up the edge of the paper and do exactly what it just did there. All right, we can do something about that. And then, depending on what colour you want at the end here, wow, there's a lot of pink there. Let's then add, I think I'm going to put a little bit more green on as well. And then when this as this is drying, I'll do the brush hose. That's it. Don't hurt to have a little bit of white, and I'm going to put a bit of green over here as well. And then we are going to tone this down with some white, so not to worry about that. So I'm just going to leave that like that for the minute. Of course, you can put this paint on any way you want to. What I'm now going to do quickly is come over to the brush hose, and I'm going to use, so I'll bring it out into the light, don't worry, olive green and grey with the brush hose. And then I'm going to try, and I've got a selection of these for us to use in our workshops, the Nuvo Shimmer Powder. Now, I haven't used this before either. I bought it so we could use it, and then we went into lockdown. So we're going to learn together with this one. It works in a similar way, but it's got some shimmer. Or if you do have the pixie powders as well, then obviously we can use them here. So I'm just going to sprinkle the colours in. See what we get. So just gently put some over. You can always add a little bit more later. Ooh. Spray seems to be bouncing around the page. And then let's try, I'm going to try and get this into the light so you can see this. Does that help? Sorry if I'm moving the cat. I'm trying to get it so that you can see the light. There we go. I think that's a bit better for you. Ooh, I'm going to use a little bit of the tonic. And then sprinkle some water. I have to move, I've got some stuff here that I want to use, and I'm just going to move that out the way so it doesn't get soaked. And then bring in, now there doesn't seem to be too much green going on there, so I'm going to add a little bit more green. And of course you can get very different effects with the brushos. Obviously with the powder, sometimes the powder won't dry, hasn't dried properly, and you still get a little bit left in the powder format. The more water you add, the looser the background, and of course once it is wet we can tip it as well if you want to have a little go at tipping, just to see where it's going to go and what it's going to do. Drop mine off to the edge like that, and then if you think you've got enough where you want it, then you can just dab it to stop it going anywhere else for a minute. And again, we need to let that, now it's better to let this dry naturally, but I know that we don't have oodles of time. I'm just going to leave mine over to one side for the minute, and then I'm going to show you what you can do with gelatos. If you've got these, I don't know how many of you will have them. I was asked a question, so I'll just quickly show you. I haven't had these out for a little while actually, so let's just put some green here. Then I'm going to go with the pinky colour. Strawberries this is. Yep. And then a little bit of grey. And again, gelatos will move when wet. Now you can either take a paintbrush to them to help them along if you want to. So if you were colouring them, so Nicola, if you were using gelatos in a more formatted way rather than the journals a bit more looser, then you can actually paint them. Or again, with the water, with more colour on them, you can actually also get them to drip, so they will move. You can also go in with that really inexpensive painting tool, your finger. So depending on how you mix the colours, how much water you put on, then you can get the different effects with the gelato as well. And again, and you can transfer the colour as well. Oops, especially if you use a dirty tissue. That's all right. So that's the kind of thing for gelatos, okay? Hopefully that helps. We'll come back to that. We'll use them again on in another workshop, either in the classroom where you can actually use mine, or depending on, I don't know how many of you have got them. So that's the same kind of thing. So they'll move with water, okay? Right, so what we need is these need to be dry. So we're going to give them a quick waft with the heat gun, just to bring them back, just to make it so we can then do something else. Okay then. Hopefully. Okay then. Hopefully all of you are now going to have some dry paper. Just make sure the acrylic actually is, yeah, that's pretty dry. Okay, so my acrylic was pretty dry anyway. So does everybody have a dry background? Don't know if you can let me know somehow. Do you all have a dry background? Now this Brusho one is looking pretty dark actually, but there is something we can do with the white paint and brayer it. I'm going to take a little bit of white paint and you can keep the colours there but tone it down slightly. So let's have a look. So I'm going to, let's do the acrylic first. Using, okay Nicola, I'll wait for you. Great Tracy, your paint's dry, that's good. Just keeping an eye on what I can see on my iPad because it's behind. I'm actually further ahead. Okay. Excellent, Helen. You're all sorted. Okay, Nikki. You're doing a couple of backgrounds, are you? I'll just give you all a moment to get your, if you're doing Brushos, to get your Brushos dry because that is going to take a little bit more water. Okay. Those pesky Brushos are taking a little while, aren't they? I'll wait for you all. Yeah, I'm not actually sure mine's perfectly dry either, which could be interesting when we add the next bit. So I'm just going to dry that off camera. All right, Lucinda, thank you. I think I need a lighter colour on my brushes. Thank you. Thanks, Elaine. Hi, Elaine. Excellent. Hi, Nicola. Nikki, to differentiate from Nicola. Brilliant. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but just to show you that the tonic shimmers that I've used, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. Let's have a look. Is it going to catch up? I don't know at all if I can show this. It's actually shimmery, but I don't know. Is that going to pick up? It's really hard to show it on the camera. Oh, you might have just seen it there. I don't know if I hold it like that. Is it going to catch up? If I have the light on it. Come on, move. Don't know. I don't know if you can. Is it showing? It's really difficult, isn't it? Okay, I'll leave that. You'll have to take my word for it that there is a shimmer to there is a shimmer to the pink. Okay. Right. So what we're going to do now then is we're going to have think you're all nearly up with me, aren't you? Hi, Nikki. How you doing? So today would have been the workshop in Somerset, it being the last Saturday of the month. And it was still on my phone in the calendar because I haven't deleted them. So it keeps popping up every now and then, reminding me that I'm supposed to be in Somerset or in Ashill. So one day we'll get back there, one day. So I've put a little bit of white paint out and I'm going to brayer it. Catching up with me? Yeah, I think so. So we're going to brayer it out. You don't want a huge amount. Okay. And then we're just going to bring it down. Don't do it all in one block. Just roll it, and you can see. Just turn your paper and put it wherever you fancy. If you fancy knocking back one of the colours, or so it's just making it a little lighter. If you want to do it, you don't have to do this, of course. All right. Probably need a little bit more. I'm gonna try it on the Brushos. Now, what happens with the Brushos though, with the powder that hasn't dissolved in the water, it will actually pick it up. The paint will reactivate it. So we'll see what happens here. I got an explosion powder, so I hope that will be shimmer in Brushos. Right, Lucy. Yes, there is. I don't know what it's called. Hang on. Are they explosions? The Brusho shimmery ones, if you like, if that's what I'm going to call them, are actually the sprinkle it, but your one should be fine. I look forward to seeing what happens to it. So this is the shimmery kind of one, so you can get with Brushos. There you go. All right. But I do look forward to seeing what yours comes out like. Okay. Right, I'm just going to put a bit of white on my Brushos. Let's see what this. You don't have to do this. I want to see what it does. We are experimenting after all. And there is that big green patch there, so it is going to be knocked back a bit. A little dark, I don't know, would have been right. That's okay. We can work with that. Oh my gosh, I don't believe it. There's somebody at the door. I'm really sorry. Hang on 1 minute. Oh, I am so sorry about that. That was my neighbour. I didn't see her walk past the windows. I would have stopped. I'm really, really sorry. Right. She just bought me a treat. That was nice, wasn't it? Right, where was I? Oh, yes. Adding white paper. Oh, well, I can see today's session is going to be full of interesting... what's that, Lucinda? And Lynette just get it tomorrow for my birthday. Oh, it's your birthday tomorrow. Well, happy birthday. Oh, doing anything exciting? Okay, right. So there are our backgrounds. So now we're going to have a look at some stenciling. Did all of you manage to find your texture paste? Because I know some of you couldn't find it. Still packed, I think. Susan, did you say? I'm just going to, so I don't know if you want to use texture paste or whether we're going to use the paint. I'll show you two different ways. So the first one, I need the brayer back out again. Those of you that don't have any texture paste but do have your white paint, well, technically I suppose it could be any colour, but with the white, we'll go with the lighter colour paint, is to take your stencil, and then, it's so weird watching myself on my iPad. There's such a time lag on it. So I don't know if you're seeing what I'm seeing on my iPad or whether I'm waiting and you're already with me. So this is an All on Create stencil, which I happen to have out, and any stencil is going to work if we've got some kind of well, they're all going to have apertures. Oh, looks like my one's broken. Oh, look at that! I've been using it so much. I have to get a new one now. I'm sure it'll be fine. So I'm going to put some light coloured paint down. In this case, I think I will try the white. So you're going to need some more white paint out. Might not be enough. Roller it out a little bit and then roller it onto your stencil. So you want it to get some paint on your stencil. I've got enough paint on it. Let's put a little bit more on. Ooh. I'm going to do a couple of times anyway. So roll the paint over your stencil, spritz with some water. I've just done that off camera. So spritz with a bit of water. And then you paint everywhere now. And then decide where you want to put it and push your stencil into position onto your card, and then with a paper towel just blot. So you're pushing down on the stencil. There you go. And then, that was a bit too wet. And then you can see that you get the negative of the stencil, so to speak. So you get the negative of the stencil. Yeah. So we're going to do that again. This is a bit wet, so I'm just going to take that down a little bit. And then add some more paint. Some more white paint. Spritz so it's not soaking wet. Just clear that off of the mat for a minute. Bring the work back in. And again. Spritz. Or push rather, not spritz. Push down with the tissue. Okay. And then, obviously haven't pushed enough down here. I might not get this paint on this one. Oh yeah, not quite. I don't think that bit was as wet. Never mind. But that's good. That's okay. So we just got a little bit of texture going on. You can see that okay? And then just gonna clear up as I go along. Okay. That's it. I've just cleaned up a little bit there, cleaned my brayer. And you should have the texture of your, or the negative image of your stencil with the paint. If you're going to use the paste, then I'll show you here with these stencils, because I'm going to use a different stencil. Oh, sorry, Brenda, just read your message. Well, now's the time to try it. It should be okay. Is it white? I'm sure it'll be fine. Although if it's a gel, and I'm not sure. I've not heard of it, so I don't know what it will do. But I guess we can find out now. Test it on a bit of card. So what we're going to do now is look at the stenciling. And as I said, I masked off portions of stencils. So have a look at all your stencils, not now, but as another time as well, and see which bits you can pull out of them. This one, this is a All and Create stencil, and on the gnomes, I only use this bit of the dandelion here. Well, I'm saying it's a dandelion, looks like one, doesn't it? So this part of the flower, so I masked it all off. And then on the other one, I used the flower, and the flower image is off of this stencil with the ladies, this clarity stencil. So this, and I can't remember the name of it, has little flowers around her hair kind of thing. And so I masked it off here so I could use this flower on its own, because I just wanted a flower. And I wanted a smallish kind of flower, so I thought that was a perfect size. So for this one then, we're going to add some paste. What you might find, if you're doing this on your brush shows, again, you may find, it doesn't always happen, that the colour may come through. If I show you this one that went wrong, I used a different paste to the one I'm going to use today. I'm going to use the Viva one. But when I did this one, I used a more clearer one. If you can see it, it dries more clear, so it's picked up the colour. Oh, you're going to see this of the brusho. You can still see the brusho through it. I don't know if you can see this properly because it's so. Don't know if you can. Can you see that bit of the flower there? Am I holding it in the wrong place for you? Where's the camera? There it is. Can you see that? Where, just near where my thumb is. There's that flower. Can you just catch it? You can see that the colours all still come through. So it's there, but kind of not there as well, if you see what I mean. So some paste will dry that way. This paste is going to be a bit more obvious. So I'm just going to use a little bit of blending paste, and we'll just blend through like that. So you want a little bit on your palette knife. Don't need too much of this. Go over it if you can in one. So we just add wherever you want to put. I tend to go with odd numbers. So we're going to go with probably with 5 on this one. Oops. There we go. I wanted it more random. Trying to do random doesn't always work, does it? So there we go. And then I'll do one over here, I think. There we go. Oops. So that's that part, and I've just realised could have done the stamping, some of the stamping before I just did that. Got a bit carried away there, but that's okay. We can still stamp around it. Just gonna wipe the bit of paste off my stencil. There we go. Out the way. Okay. And wipe your palette knife as well. So what you could do is start stamping around, but because this is still wet and we could catch it, it probably is a better idea to dry. So make sure your bases are dry, even with the ones that if you did the paint with the stencil, make sure that's dry as well before we go on to do anything else. Okay, so I'm just going to dry these off as best I can. Okay, Brenda. Oh, Nikki. Is it in your little crafting hat? Well, our fingers, I guess, are the best digits we can use. Okay, I'll give you a few moments to catch up with your texture paste. I didn't get that ready, did I? Maybe some other pink there. Okay. So we'll get to that point and then we'll start looking at some stamping. Okay. That's a good idea. If you're in your kitchen, Nikki, you've got a drawer full of knives as well. Dare I say. Okay. I'll give you a little bit on there. Oh, Nicola, I've just seen your other message. So, Sheila, it's your birthday on Tuesday. It's my next door neighbour's birthday on Tuesday as well, the husband. Well, this weekend is the time for birthdays then, isn't it? Or this end of the month anyway. Oh, Lucy, I hope you have a lovely time with your mum down there. And Sheila, I hope you have a nice day on Tuesday as well. Right, to give you a moment to catch up with it, and then we're going to look at doing some stamping around the place. Now I'm going to do some stamping in oxide as well as in VersaFine. Used a bit of polyfiller. Oh, fantastic. Oh, Nikki, well done. Oh, Amanda, hello. I didn't know you were with us. Hello, Amanda. Yes, it seems to be the day. I hope you both got treats then when your doorbell went. I did. I got a lovely treat. My poor neighbour's going to wonder what I was doing. I'll have to give her a call when I finished. That's good, Susan. I like the fact that you're using stuff to hand. I'm sure your paste is going to be right at the bottom of the last craft box you open. Always the way, I think. Okay, so how are we all doing? Are we all kind of getting there? Okay. So what we can do now is think about the kind of stamping we want. So I'm going to use, these are clarity stamps I've got here. From, which way up does this go? Yes, I put a little mark, didn't I? Get that up the right way this time. Some of them I'm not sure I'm gonna use that one. I might use my lid again. Some of the stamps, oh, gosh, I really wish I could use my overhead for this, because the light is shielded by the laptop. So I'm trying to move my stamps around so you can see what I'm using. So I've got it under the light that's on. I wonder if I put my overhead light on, whether it will help. Don't know if that helps you or not, does it? Oh, because now I've got my stamps out of the camera view. Right, so can you see these? Is that better? Oh, it's your birthday on Tuesday as well. Oh my gosh, happy birthday. Oh, how exciting. All these birthdays. Hi, Suze. I didn't realise you were here with us as well. That's good. Wow. So, Lucinda tomorrow, Sheila and Amanda on Tuesday. How lovely. How lovely. Right. I guess that does help a bit, doesn't it, for you? Having my overhead lights on as well. Okay. Right. So, let's add some texture. Now, these are so these two stamps here, the text and the blob, are from Clarity's, I'm going to call it the journaling set, the second journaling set. I'm not sure if that's the real name. I might have to look that up for you. But that's where those two have come from. Then the flower and the word joy have come from the Joy stamp set. So the female version of Brave, one of them. So that's where they've come from. And then this flourishy thing here, this long one that I've got here, is actually in the Brave stamp set. So I'm using a right mixture here. And that's what's good. We can use all sorts of different background stamps, and you can use larger stamps as well, which I don't have one to hand here now that I've said that. Right, let me just grab this for instance. So for instance, that's going to go crashing on the floor. this stamp set, this stamp here, which would be too big normally for what we're about to do, is it's a really good idea to use these kinds of that, and we can just use a portion of them to bring in more texture, more layers. So I'll do that as well. So I'll use this as well to show you. Okay. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to put the text in black, I think, and I'm going to stamp the flower and the wiggly bit, if you like, and the paint splat. I'm going to do in similar colours to what we've used. So I'm going to bring in, not that for a start, this one. So I'm going to bring in these oxide colours, so keeping in with the green, grey and pink theme. So I've got Bundle Sage, Hickory Smoke and Picked Raspberry for mine, and hopefully you've got some inks that map into what the colours you've been using. And I'm going to stamp them a cut. Now I'm going to do most of this without it being on the, I don't think I'm going to do any of them on the mount actually. Certain size stamps will stick to your finger, which is rather handy. You can use your finger as the block, because it don't suddenly drop on your work. And then just think about where you might want to place them, and place them off the edge as well. You don't need the whole flower or the whole image. You can paste them off, and I'm going to do maybe 3 like that there. And it doesn't matter if they don't stamp perfectly. Okay. I think I'm going to do some grey in that as well. So I'll do a couple of grey. Do some grey ones. Okay, and then let's just do one up here. Press too hard this time. There we go. So I've got some of that. And then now this longer one I am going to put on a block, having just said I am going to use this one because it's easier to do on the block and I can change the ends. So let's bring in some green with this one then. You don't have to use oxides. If you can also we can use practically anything actually. All the if you've got coloured VersaFine, you can use them. Your dye-based inks should be all right on your Brushos. They may not work on the acrylic. It depends how thick it is. It should be okay for what we're doing because we haven't used a huge amount. And then I'm going to stamp, bring some of this in different places. So work around the background, mixing up the colours, bringing in some different colours as well so that they all work together. Using different parts of the stamp. So maybe the top, bottom, sideways, halfway on, different angles coming in. We've got some green there. Use that again in a minute. And I'm going to change colour. So just give it a quick wipe. And then using the grey, so let's bring more of that one in there. And then I think I'm going to, I normally tell you to take the ink to the stamp, don't I? There we go. And I think we'll have one. It's not very straight this. Let's go in at an angle then. Let's go in at an angle here. And then we'll have another one. I think we'll have one coming up there. keep turning your work so it's in the position you need it to be in. Just actually, how do I want to do this? I'm going to do it this way so I can use this mount this way. Right. There we go. I'll put that one over the flower as well, which of course we can do. I think I might have, which one am I going to use now? Let's have a little bit of, let's just have a little bit of the paint splodge, I think. Ooh, wow, that's a lot of paint. Let's see what this does. So let's see what happens. Shall we just do it in, where am I going to put it now? Let's put it there. Whilst you're doing this, think about where you're going to put your main stamp as well. Probably should have said that a bit earlier, shouldn't I? So think about where your image is going to go. Did we all cut them out? Or did some of you need to do that as well? So that's fine. Yes, I like that. And I'm going to do a couple in the green as well, I think. Sorry about that, I just caught them out. Yeah, let's do these in the green. Oh, that's green there already, isn't it? Right, let's have a look, see what happens if we do that there. Showing up quite as well. Let's see what happens. Actually, I'm going to put it up here. Yes, that's all right. Can't really see the one I put there. So let's bring in another one there. Conscious I'm going to bring two greens together now. Oh well, we'll do that and then I'll bring in, there we go. And let's have a look. Right, so how are we all getting on? We all busy stamping? Stamped and masked. Okay, Judy. Oh, okay. You had your stamp straight on there first of all. Of course, I didn't think to say that, did I? Considering I cut mine out. That's good. Right, so on a larger stamp, probably better to work off the block on this one. And let's do this in the grey. So I'm going to, which bit of a stamp? Let's have this bit of a stamp. And then I'm going to ink just part of the stamp up. And then stamp it down. There we go. And we get some different, almost like different texture coming in really, isn't it? Probably. And again, you can use as little or as much as you want. I'll have to do another one of them now. Let's just do, where am I going to put this? Let's put it in here then. There we go. So always look at your stamps and see what bits you can nick from them. And again, we're going to do it with our texture stamp anyway. I think that's coming along quite nicely. I'm going to, I haven't got my join. I'm going to now use the wording. Let's just add some text in here as well. And I'm going to do it in black. So we've got some contrast to your image, which I'm guessing you stamped in black. Oh, did you, Noreen? Okay. Ink up a little bit of the stamp, then we can add some black text going in here. Any portion of it, just a little bit, we're going to do, it's fine. don't need a lot of it. There we go. Then you can just bring in little bits of it from the sides. And this has got a great wobbly edge on it. So bring it in like that. Now I'm going to do a bit more actually. Let's just see in here. And then a little bit here as well. I'm going to leave the joy stamp for a minute. Right. Just clear up all this ink. I actually washed my cleaning rags this week. Oh, how about that then? Right. So, are we in a position so that we have everything that we want stamped? Just going to get this ink off this stamp for a minute. Ooh. Okay, so how are we all doing? Have we got enough stamps? As I mentioned in my email, I have stamped and cut out my stuff. I don't know if everybody has actually stamped out their main stamp. All good, Nikki, excellent. So that's good. We've all got something looking like this then, have we? Well, in your colours, of course. See, these colours, this green, I just think is too dark on here. But anyway, it's going to be hidden in a minute. So this is what I've got at the moment then. So we've got our background. We've got some texture paste. We've got some stamping going on in similar colours. And in the black. Yep. So we're all at this point here. Okay. So the next thing then is to look at our stamped image. Are we all ready to move on? I know some of you. Okay. Are we all okay now? Right. So how many of you have a stamped image? Please say all of you. If not, we've now got to stamp our image. Already. Good. Already. Excellent. Thanks, Elaine and Tracy. And Nikki. Excellent, Sue. All stamped. Okay. Right, so it's all stamped. Okay, now at this point is when we think about how you want to colour it in. Now, I'm going to be very naughty. I'm going to stamp this image out again, I think, for you. Because maybe not all of you have stamped it already. Stamped and cut out. Ah, excellent. Marvellous. Okay, now, I decided I wasn't going to colour my image in, all of them in. So what I'm going to do is so what I have done, instead of waffling on here, look, I have cut Joy out and some flowers, which I have coloured. And I've put her eyes in. Now, they don't get any eyelashes when they're stamped, and I haven't practiced with the eyelashes, so I'm going to, I might do it now, I don't know. I'm thinking of chicking out for a minute. But I'm actually going to keep her white. We've got time to cut out. I'll let you do that. Oh, okay, Brenda. I will give you time to cut out as well if you need to cut out. This, oh, I can finish cutting this out myself actually. It doesn't look, now I can see it in daylight. It doesn't look very good. And I've coloured some flowers because this is how I was going to go with it, with the image. So this is how I was going to go with it, with the image. So are all your stamps coloured in or just stamped and ready to go? Because now is the time that we can colour in. And what I'll do is I'll stamp some more flowers. So if you haven't coloured your stamp in, think about the colours that you want to use. Again, if I bring my Brave back in, as you can see, I added some brown for his hair and there's some grey on the fox. But I kept him, I've coloured the jersey orange and the eyes green to tie in with the background. Okay. Some have coloured, some have stamped. Okay, if you stamped, we can colour them in now. I can give you a chance, or you can colour them in a bit later if that's what you'd prefer to do. What's the kind? Gosh, it's coming up for 20 to 12. Good Lord. So I use the same similar kind of colours. All right. So if you want to, you're stamped and coloured. Some of you are going to colour it in later. Okay. Right. All right then. What we'll do then, I'll move on to finish it, to show you what I've done to finish it. And then perhaps it might be better for you to finish colouring then. Okay, Tracy. Okay. All right then. Let me just move on to show you. So sometimes leaving the stamp white really helps it pop against the background. As I said, I'm going to just cut that line off a little bit here. So can you see? In fact, I'm actually going to raise her up a little bit, which means she's over one of my flowers. See, what did I say? Check where you're going to put your little peep. There we go. So if we leave her like that, so I'm going to have her sitting on something. I'm going to add something else as well. If you want to put a background to it, so if I pull Brave back in again, I've got a little circle of light here, so like kind of like the sun or the moon. Rather than doing the whole thing and colouring in a complete circle, I actually used the mask and worked outside the mask. All right, so that's how I did this one, rather, because I didn't really want a big yellow middle kind of thing there. So I've used it's actually squeezed lemonade, but it's picked up some of the green, as you can see in the, so it's slightly darker, but that's fine because that's how I wanted it. And then I've got some yellow in the hair and across the face as if it's reflecting back onto them. Okay. If we want to do that on this one, which I can do, I think most of you know how to do this, but we'll just go over it for everybody. You can use your mask. If you've got a round mask like this one, it's a lot easier, I have to say. So we're going to keep the flower within the halo. I can look at it. Yep, we can do that there. So I'm now going to bring in a colour. I want really the colours to match this, to be in sympathy with this, what I've actually done. So what I might do, I'm going to try Twisted Citron. This is going to be interesting. I have no idea what this is going to do, but it's all to do with experimenting, isn't it? And I also need, oh, where is it? Where's the sponge? Oh, sorry. Right, I've got a sponge here. And then I'm just going to see what citron green. So I was keeping it in the colour family. It is still green, obviously. And then on the mask, and then flick. So always start on the mask and then flick out. This technique is rather useful for giving yourself a manicure at the same time. So I now have twisted citron coloured fingernails. But hey. Right, and then if we lift it, yes, we can see it's quite subtle in some areas, but that's good. I think that works. That looks great. And so we can position our step so it can go in there. So she can go in there. I'm just gonna cut a little bit here a minute. Hang on. Just gonna finish this bit off. Oops. Oh, I really must practice my fussy cutting. It's no good. I'm gonna put her there. Where should I put her? Yeah, so there's a flower in our moon as well. Okay, well, that's all right. We'll know not to do with that again, won't we? And I'm also going to bring in some washi tape as well. Now this is just to show you, I don't know, you don't have to use washi tape. I'm just going to use it to finish it off. So if I'm going to leave her like that, of course I want a white, of course. I'm just going to give us definition. So just giving her some definition. Oh, sorry. I think I might have been off camera there. There we go. So I'm going to have her sit in here. So I will use a bit of silicone glue so that she maintains her definition. Hopefully that will come out. And then, oh no, don't tell me it's dried. Okay, I shall use the tube then. And my pokey tool. And I'll just put some, oh, you can't see what I'm doing, can you? Sorry. I'm just putting some glue, some 3D glue on. There we go. I'll need that in a minute. Get that back out. And then let's put her on. There we go. Now instead of having her floating, rather than I'm going to add some washi tape at the bottom as well. Actually, that's enough. Let's do a little bit of green. What should we do? Let's have that there. There we go. And then another thing you can do is add some colour rounder. So I just got, in this instance, I've got a Pitt Pastel. You can use a charcoal, you can use Inktense pencils with a bit of water or anything. It's just to add in like a little bit of And then, of course, she isn't dry. You should do this when it's dry. But then bring in a little bit of shadow around her. A bit better on here with a charcoal pencil. I didn't want to get up again. Or in fact with a watercolour pencil. There we go. And then we can probably blend it out with one of these. I don't know how many of you are using the blending nibs from Clarity. Yeah, it does. Because these are really cool for blending out not just on parchment, but ink on your pencil. So if you're using Faber-Castell pencils as well, or any pencil actually, you can then use these dry. You don't have to have them wet or with the oil on them. And you can see that it then takes it down a little bit. I don't know if that actually shows very easily. Where I've then might be easier on the pink here. Can you actually see it? So up here on the pink, so I keep an eye on my camera, and it's, as I said, there's a time lag on it. So there we go. You can see that is blending in more than just the sharp pencil line, which look like. If I do this, right, so you can see you've got the pencil line here. I shouldn't really watch, should I? I should just keep talking because now you think I'm. So do the dot line here, and then with these pencils, I put it down here, you can then see that you can blend out the harshness. Hopefully you can see that. All right. Okay. So that's just another use for those tips as well. These flowers that I've got here, sorry, I was going to show you something else. These flowers that I've got here, which of course are the same as those I've stamped, have been coloured with Faber-Castell and then blended out using those blending tools. So you get a smoother kind of finish. There are some, you can see the pencil, the different grading in them, but you can, and if you add the oil, it will smooth out completely, but I kind of like some of the texture. But then with just using these nibs, they will actually then blend them as well. So you can get a different kind of finish to them. So with these flowers, I'm then going to add them around her. So we could do some flowers like that. So she's got, however, that's just her arm, isn't it? So she could be nestled in a whole bouquet of them. Let's separate them with that. To however we want them. Obviously, how they best kind of fit. That looks quite good. So we can add different things like that. Anything to do with your stamp, you can add all sorts of charms. Anything else can go on here for you to then think about, would you use that back into a card or something like that. Now, the only thing that we haven't done is the edge. Because most of this is paint, you could go in with paint around the edge using your finger. I had my black paint out because I know I got it out before we started. Oh, here it is, hidden. I know I haven't stuck those flowers down. Let's just do that quickly, and then we can bring in. So I'm not going to make you use your what is it? Sharpie pen this time. So we don't have to use the Sharpie pen. Then we have that like that. And then keeping them. Oh, and with the dimension, I first used a ball tool in the palm of my hand, rubbed it on the back, so that they actually then, you could use a mat for this, but I just did my hand, just use it in the palm of my hand, so that the petals curl upwards, using it on the wrong side, and then you turn over and just rub it, and then they sit up, so you've got some dimension to your flowers. Blue. Keep that one there. And oops, wow, that was quite a bit of blue, wasn't it? And then where did I have the other one? Like that. So in actual fact, now cover that with pink washi, just peeking out. That's okay. So there we go. Shake up the black paint. Okay, there was some air in that. Fair enough. Oh yeah, there's one other thing I want to show you as well. Actually, we better do that first. Actually, I'm going to show you the other thing first. This black paint has gone a bit wild over here. Obviously so excited that I actually opened the tube. Right. Oh my goodness me. I'll do the black in a minute. Sorry about that. I just want to show you something else. So with your card, so if you take I think we'll take our white paint again. So with our white paint and your card, your credit card or old Nectar card or whatever kind of card, old membership card. Actually, I'll use that one. Put a little bit of white paint out, and then can you see where I am? Hopefully you can see. I mean, get some paint on, and then bring in some lines. Oops, some will be thicker than others, that's fine. And then you can also go obviously the other way, so you can get different bits of scratchy going. I'm not going to do a little bit of paint this way. Wherever you want it. It does get quite a bit. Oops. Helps if you actually have paint on the right end of the card when you're working on it. I think that's probably, yeah, probably. And then we can do the edge. Don't know what's going to happen with this black paint now. Look at it. It has gone completely nuts. There we go. And you can use your finger and just tie it on around the edge. If you want, you can use a fine liner pen to bring in some different angles in the corners, which I'll show you in a minute, on what I've done before. to do that. There we go. You can bring it round there, and that's. I was doing so well. I was keeping relatively clean till I opened that black paint. So there we go. Here is the finished piece. Hopefully, well, guess who's just, oh, Nikki. I did that. I did that, as I said earlier. Yeah. Never mind. So these are the kind of you can use your fine liner pen to bring in some different flourishes, and it works on this one. I think because of the way this stamp comes in, you can go a bit more wavy lined and curly cues and everything. You don't have to do it though. I'm going to leave mine like this, I think, for now. It is a bit, for a journal page, it is a bit 3D-ish, but that's okay. It will just get flattened, really. As this does fit into a binder, you can put a little bit in. And once it's dry, that'll rest. So hopefully, thanks Elaine, hopefully all of you have now got something finished, something like that. I know some of you may have left your stamps, so you might not have finished completely with me because you want to colour your stamps in, but I've given you some ideas about how to break a journal page now. If it's blank page, you're just looking at it. Hopefully these will give you some ideas. Next time you can use your favourite colour paints. So I hope you all did use different colour paints. When I see your work, I want to see those favourite colours. Thanks, Susan. So that's it for today, I think. If you're happy to join up with me again in a couple of weeks' time, I'm happy to do it with you. And we'll look to do the book. I may look to do slightly longer, but I'll talk about that on the email with you, just to give us a little bit more time to work on the book. But we could go to 2 hours. I'm happy. We could go a little bit longer. It's entirely up to you. Whatever works for you. But I'll email you all with some ideas that I've got. So hopefully that's given you something. As you know, these are not, those of you that know me well know these are not the natural colours that I will go for. So I did come away out of my comfort zone. And I think we have a look at everything that I did before. So here's the other sample. I'll bring back in again with Brave. I do like the way the brush strokes have gone on here. I added too much water, I think, to the other one. And then here is the gnomes again. So a different idea completely there as well. So just to give you a different idea, this these circles were made by using white ink through the stencil rather than painting, on the stencil. Okay, there we go. We're not properly in shot here, are we? So there's that one. So these circles here were made with the same stencil that I used, this one here, and I used Brilliance white paint through it. Okay, so that's just another way of using it. But we'll come back. We'll look at using jelly plates and stuff like that to do more stuff in the future. May even do that next time as well to decorate the background of our paper. But hopefully you've all had a good time. And I'll see you in a couple of weeks' time. Thanks, Elaine. Oh, Jackie, hello. Now, you could have done this. You could do this on a card as well. Lovely to see you. Lovely to know that you were there listening in. So thank you, everybody, for coming along. As I said, I'll drop you an email and I'll catch up with you soon. Take care.